Shalom and good day all, this is T-Yelling29 back again for Solicitation Station, whatever episode number shows next. Quite likely I'll probably have this post up in the late evening of today, or late evening into night of today. So I'm getting this done close to lunchtime here for the time being, as we cover this solicitation station of the DC Connect. And as you can see here, we've got the writer of Jeremy Adams on the character of, guess who? Aquaman himself. And yes, no doubt this will be greatly appreciated by everyone who has enjoyed everything that Jeremy Adams has done through DC themselves. And I think this is going to be a good jump-on point for anyone who might be interested in the series. I'd like to say one thing, if I was around in this time, as I've got my last somewhat video for the year to go up around December 1st. Every video after that will be going up 60 days afterwards, as I may no longer be around. Unless by some miracle I'm still somehow around, be able to do live streams, whatever. It is what it is. Unless I am murdered by the most corrupt government in Australia, which is quite likely to happen. Because they got no qualms in framing people up to be things that they aren't. So let's move into the internal of the DC Connect as we have a look through every page. I don't know how long this video is going to be, and I hope you enjoy what would be probably what will be the last solicitation station video for the year. So of course, as we begin to move into the rest of what's planned for DC Connect, we have, of course, the return of the Justice League Unlimited, and no doubt this will cover quite a number of characters. We know that Mark Waid will be using a number of characters, and I quite like what he has done so far. And yes, it is somewhat possible to separate the art from the artist. Yes, he does some dick takes. But if you gotta go into freaking president derangement syndrome, maybe you need to question your sanity. Personally, I don't give a flying fuck who the president is. I don't like any of the bastards. Presidents, prime ministers, you name it. As far as I'm concerned, let them all bloody rot in the grave, every single one of them. So as you can see, we've got some multiverses related stuff, and of course you certainly see some of that stuff be reviewed on the channel. And we've got the DC All In. As to how well this DC All In will go, time and sales will tell. So we're starting to move into the area of Batman and what's happening around Gotham. And of course we've got a number of facsimile editions, and if I were to recommend something, pick up the facsimile editions, especially if you're enjoying some of the older Batman content. This is the thing for you. As we move into some of the newer content, we of course got Chip Zdarsky still on Batman. We have Scott Snyder working on Absolute Batman. Of course, we've got the Absolute Superman and the Absolute Wonder Woman. I don't know if I'd really want to check out the Absolute Superman, to be honest. I don't like Jason Aaron. I don't like what he did in Marvel, especially with Punisher and a number of other characters, including Thor. But that's just personal opinion. You might be someone who absolutely loves the living daylights out of Jason Aaron, but realize that you've got hooked on stupid. Of course, we move into some additional stuff, and we got a bit of a Lex Luthor, and we got Wonder Woman and the various covers there. We also have the return of Aquaman with Jeremy Adams. I would definitely recommend you check this out. And I wonder if it's going to continue Aquaman's story with not only Mira, but also his daughter too. And if he might end up having another son later on. That would be quite interesting. We, of course, have the return of the New Gods, Justice League, the Atom Project, so the character of the Atom is returning. The return of the Challenges of the Unknown. I must admit, it's going to be interesting with Christopher Cantwell working on it. Is he best suited for it? We don't actually know. You know what? Of course, I recently received a message through my LCS asking if I wanted to pick up the Watchtower, and I said, no, not really interested. If it was mainly the Vic Sage question, most definitely. Of course, we've got the Action Comics and Detective, Cassandra Cain Batgirl, which should be quite interesting. I hope they get someone who actually puts the time to study and research the character, not an idiot who's going to go in and ruin her character. And that's happened a number of times with Cassandra Cain. Of course, we've got the character of Catwoman, Harley, and Poison Ivy, all villains of the Batman area of Gotham. I must admit, I did actually quite like the first issue of Dan Waters' Nightwing, and I would definitely recommend you check it out. Of course, we've got the John Layman Titans. I haven't even checked out the first issue with him on it yet. I doubt I will. Of course, we've got the return of the more Birds of Prey and Black Canary. Do yourself a favor. You might want to steer clear of some of Tom King's stories. Some of them, not all of them. Of course, the return of Black Lightning and the JSA. Of course, the return of the Green Lantern with Jeremy Adams on the title. And do pay attention as to when Peter J. Tomasi will be bringing in the Sinister Sons. I really did enjoy that story, and you might enjoy it too. So remember to pick up the trade for that. Green Arrow and Flash. It's nice to see Simon Spurrier actually telling a proper story, especially with the latest issue of Flash, and not giving us garbled garbage of the last 13 issues of The Flash. So hopefully his storytelling will actually improve a lot more from issues 14 onwards, though do pay attention in case it happens to fall again. Some nice little looking variants here. Some more Shazam, Two-Face, Metamorpho, the Element Man, of course Power Girl. None of these, only certain ones grab interest here. Ginny Sparks, at least it's Black Label, but why don't they just call it Vertigo now, seeing they've already announced that Vertigo is returning. We've got DC versus Vampires. I might wait for the trade, or I'd prefer to wait for the trade. That's me personally anyway. The World's Finest, not bad so far. Batman and Robin by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Someone who actually does pay attention to how Damian Wayne is meant to act. And you might want to ignore the stuff when they talk about Damian being bratty. If anything, you got to remember that Damian also idolizes his father. That's the thing. He idolizes his father. So if his father's putting on a persona, he's got to put on a persona. For whatever the event might be. Whether it's school, whether it's going to an event, right? He idolizes his father. We also have the Milestone Universe. It's going to be interesting as to how well this is going to go. Of course, more DC Horror Presents, and also the return of Lex and the City. Is this anything like, for example, DC's version of Sex and the City? Instead, it's Lex and the City. Be prepared for crazy crap to happen. When are we going to get to these collected runs? So it looks like some more facsimile editions. These all look worth picking up. A Super Cyclopedia, and it looks like we've got a fraudulent Jimmy Olsen at hand. Report, fraudulent Jimmy Olsen at hand. We got a black Jimmy Olsen. This is not necessary, and I gotta call this shit out. And I mean it, I gotta call this shit out. This is not necessary. We do not need a black Jimmy Olsen. How about you create a new black character, not call him Jimmy Olsen, and make it their Super Encyclopedia. Alright? Because this is gonna fall through the roof. Yeah, it might be okay, but this story, whatever this is, it's gonna collapse. And it's gonna be called out. Alright, there's no need to fridge the original Jimmy Olsen and make and race swap the character to black. What's next? Is he trans next? Or maybe he's rapist next. Just saying. Moving into the next things, we have the collected editions. Nothing really of interest here. Or actually, maybe the Batman Gotham by Gaslight Kryptonian Age. That's probably about the only one that might be of interest. Some stuff in relation to the Adult Swim universe, to which that Jimmy Olsen, in that particular universe, has been race swapped. Again, DC being fucking lazy as dumbass biatches. Couldn't create a new character, couldn't give him a new name, and say, okay, here's a new friend of the Superman members of the family. You know, they do that stuff with Batman too. What makes it any different than with Superman? How about we name a black member of the Batman family? Duke Thomas. Hero name? Signal. Oh, let's not forget the Batwing. But don't forget the character of the Batwing has actually had two black characters being the role of Batwing. One being Lucius Fox's son, and the other one being one of the originals. You know, DC, don't go stupid. Wake the fuck up. Oh, and by the way, you might want to fire Jim Lee. Moving into next things, we've got Gotham City Sirens, Multiverse Detected. That's something I'd probably want to pick up, as I don't mind the story so far. We've also got the Zatanna, Nice House by the Sea, the return of the Superman Batman Compact Edition. We got the Authority Compact Edition. If that's centered on the original stuff around the Authority, okay, I might actually be interested in picking it up. We also have some other editions, more of the pocket size. We've got Green Arrow, Green Lantern, the return of Superman 78, to which the first one was really good, and I advise you check it out. We've got some, looks to be Golden Age Batman, that will definitely be worth to pick up. We got some Dark Knight's Metal, before it sort of shit itself with Dark Knight's Death Metal. We also have a Dead Man Omnibus. Now, that is something that I would be interested in. And we have a new edition, or what looks to be a new edition, of the Batman Team NT run, which was done by Tinian. Actually, really good story. All three versions. And moving into the rest of the collected editions, we have some Titans, Power Girl, Scalped, Justice League. Well, that finishes this off for the DC Connect. Until then, let's keep it colorful and have yourself an awesome day.